So I also don't like to brag, but I am an avid indoorsman. For me, I like to play outside, but adrenaline for me is a lot like hot pepper sauce. You know, you think you want more, but beyond a certain point, you lose control of your bowels. And for me, that day of reckoning came on the water when I nearly drowned, accidentally on purpose. One of the main reasons why Katie and I even moved to Asheville in the first place is because of its proximity to whitewater rivers. Whitewater kayaking is huge around here. I don't know, within like a 2-hour radius of where we are right now, there are at least several hundred places that you can put in or take out depending on your skill level. For me, the initial rush came on the very first day of our very first kayaking lesson when they teach you a valuable skill that is known in the kayaking world as the wet exit. The wet exit is the first and most important thing you learn because that's how you get out of your boat while it is upside down, before they teach you how to turn it right side up, right? Because if you panic while you're upside down, nothing else matters. So if you've never been in a whitewater kayak or seen one, it's not like those long ones that you see the Eskimos, in or the people in the ocean. It's a really small, it's not so much a craft that you captain as it is a thing that you wear. It's like a plastic bathtub 4 feet long, you squeeze into it, and the way you keep the water out of it is by wearing a skirt that has a very powerful sort of bungee cord that wraps around a lip, and there's a grab loop that you can pull to pop yourself out while you're upside down. That's the first thing they teach you, how to pop your skirt and get out. My second dose of adrenaline came when they taught me how to turn the thing right side up. I didn't get it right on the first try or the second try or even the 50th try. I think it took me about a year to finally, I won't say master that skill, but hit it at about a 50% success rate. For me, the light bulb moment was when a friend taught me how to do it. He appealed to my engineering nature and said, "Quit trying to muscle through it, Gary. Your technique is way more important than upper body strength. In fact, upper body strength is practically useless when it comes to rolling a kayak." I found that to be quite a relief. As one of my doctors once told me, he said I was born with weak shoulders. I don't know what that was. If you're listening at home, the people in the room laughed because I'm fucking ripped. The third dose of adrenaline came when I learned how to do something called surfing your kayak. Now, when you hear surfing, you immediately think the beach where the waves roll in and the surfers are moving along with the water. In a river, it's exactly the opposite. The waves are stationary, but the water is moving. So when you can get your boat into that little groove and you just look down and you see all this water just going by you so fast, and you look over there and there's a tree and it's not moving. It's very much like flying. It's kind of like a seagull catching a breeze until you flip upside down by accident. Remember that 50% success ratio I talked about earlier? Well, my basic approach to rolling my kayak was to stay upright. And so my wife and I were on this river, and we were just upstream from a wave train, which is about 100 yards of splashy parts and then some shallow bits. And I was surfing, and I turned upside down, and I calmed myself down. I didn't quite have the adrenaline. The hot peppers weren't there yet, but I thought through it. I remembered what I'd been told, and I put myself into position, and I went to set my paddle, but then nothing happened because my right arm wasn't there. I couldn't feel my hands. My right arm wasn't moving. It wasn't doing anything. And I couldn't see because, of course, I'm underwater. There's nothing to see. So I reached over to feel my arm, and the upper part of my arm was coming out of my rib cage. Apparently, what had happened was, as I went over, my paddle got stuck in between some rocks, and at that speed, the death grip that I had on the paddle, which they teach you not to do, was very much like catching the last branch of a tree before hitting the ground, and out it came. So I thought, okay, I'm not gonna roll, I'm gonna go for the wet exit, but that really powerful bungee cord thing is really a two-handed job. So I had no choice but to try to reset my shoulder while upside down underwater. It was at that moment that I realized that not only was I upside down, but that I was also traveling backwards, and that I had gone down on an exhale, so I didn't have the luxury of oxygen to help me sort this out, and my head was hitting the rocks. So I grabbed my arm, and I put it back in place, and it was the second worst pain I'd ever experienced in my life. But I suddenly had 10 working fingers again, and I popped my skirt, and I swam to the shore where I promptly flopped onto the beach and vomited river water. Downstream, I could see my friends desperately trying to paddle upstream to reach me, but of course that was useless. My friend Dave was upstream in a raft, and he pulled up and parked on the beach beside me, and he said, "Hey, buddy, you look like you need a ride. You want to get in?" And I said, "I do, but I have to finish this. I have to finish this." So I did. I made it to the takeout under my own power. Now, thank you, but you may change your mind about that in a second. The one detail that I've neglected to share with you, however, is the name of this river, which I think I'm still going to keep to myself because there's a lot of, probably a few experienced paddlers in the room right now, and if you knew the name of this body of water that I was talking about, all of a sudden those peppers would seem a whole lot less spicy. But it was hot for me.